Hello, my name is back to another channel. I'm JMJ Books Corner, and today we're starting a reading vlog for the second half of November. Today is the 21st November. Super sorry for being late to starting this. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about the books I have published. I published Gunshot Residue on September 20th, and it follows Alex as he believes his husband is cheating on him, and he takes it upon himself to try to figure out if this is true or not. He soon realizes that there is a larger mystery at hand, and he's not really sure if he can survive it. The second book, P49, follows Carrie Brooks. I know it's so the proof copy. Oh, it's so annoying. Eventually, it'll get here. I feel like, right? It has to. My author copy has to come. But P49 follows Carrie Brooks as he is given an opportunity from Wonderland, a dream job of his, and with this opportunity comes a very responsible thing he has to accomplish, and he doesn't actually believe he is capable of doing so. The third book, Mr. and Mr. St. James, comes out on December 9th. It could be out by the time this video comes out, I don't know, but it comes out December 9th, and it follows Alex and DeMarcus as they're fighting one another, and it poses the question, can you kill the person you love to set them free? This is a completed trilogy, by the way, when this book comes out, so you can read all three back to back and there'll be one contained story. I didn't even include the epilogue because the epilogue has a little bit of other stuff going on, and so I want to keep that until the bind up when some other stuff gets announced. Okay, that being said, I've read 3 other books since the last time we talked, so let's go through them really quickly. We have The Situationship, which is part of Your World 3.5. This follows a main character, side character in the third book, and the relationship that blossoms, and I really do believe this should have been a book. I understand that Javier Mendez does like trilogies. I would take a novella, like a 200-page novella of this. It was so cute. It was so endearing. I love these two people so much. I would want more of their story, and having read what she wrote after it, this would have been a much better book. That being said, the next one would be DC Horror Presents. This is an amalgamation of different horror stories for DC characters going through horrific events. If I want very explosive content, I thought it was just fine. I couldn't tell you how I rate each story. There's 6 or 7 in here. There's a few that did stand out, but they were more obtuse characters, and so it poses the question of, because you're not actually telling more, this cover is, I don't feel like is very influenced enough with the actual stories at hand. Each of the main 3, DC Trinity do get their own horror stories, but they weren't very outable. However, Batman's Rogues Gallery has so many beautiful characters in it and so many twisted characters that they stood out more. So I landed on 3.5 overall. I would probably recommend if you are interested. Then I read Gone Before Goodbye by Harlan Coben and Reese Witherspoon. I picked up because Reese's name is on the cover. Yes, I did. I did not really care for it. Most people have not seemed to care for it. This follows Maggie. She is a surgeon. Her license has been revoked. She gets an opportunity to go do a life-changing plastic surgery for somebody overseas, pays off all of their debts. We're not really sure who the person is. When she gets there, she's put in an extremely uncomfortable situation, and then that just slowly grows out of control, is essentially what happens. A few other quirks I didn't really care for. It felt like it was made in 2004 in a bad way. There's some dialogue choices that didn't make a lot of sense. The audiobook was just fine for being a fully narrated, fully everybody had a voice type of thing, and it was in tandem with everything, so it's a podium audiobook is the best way to explain it, where all characters do talk to one another. As the conversations about AI in it that I didn't really care for either, it made me feel really uncomfortable. I'm I don't know, there's one in particular thing which is such an interesting exploration because they are trying to make it a real thing, and this book really shows you why you shouldn't, so that's something. But I landed on a 3. Moral of the story. Then I started Swordcatcher today. I read 170 pages of that. This is Cassandra Clare's brand new adult series. And I was like, oh, how's an adult? It's because it's spicy. Everything else is pretty much just standard Cassandra Clare. Have you read it all the way up to Chain of Gold? That's not what that series is called. The Lost Hours. If you read all the way up to Lost Hours, honestly, if you read all the way up to Clanbear and Darkness, Lady Midnight and stuff, those are a bit more spicier. The second book in that series, I think, is a bit more spicier than those. It's basically the same level. I don't know how I feel about it yet. However, to be fair, most Contingent Clairs, I typically don't like the first book, and then I love the rest of the series, and then I do rereads, because I will do rereads for this series. Obvious reasons. I tend to like it a bit more. Ironically, the main character, Kel, has really stood out to me. However, I'm going to keep my thoughts and stuff brief in this vlog. This is getting a full spoilerly vlog. It's going to be a part of a 5-book vlog. It's popping enough on the channel. I'm talking about it enough on Contingent Clair. Let's not be shocked here, but I'm just going to leave it to those for that simple reason. I hope you understand. That being said, that's what I'm currently reading, so I'll talk to you later. Alright, I'm going to come here and update the reading vlog real fast. Today is November 24th. This is for November 23rd. However, I did end up reading more of Contingent Clair's Saddle Catcher. I think we're on chapter 17. This is a placement marker for chapter 14. The day before, I read like 2 or 3 more chapters of it. I'm adoring this book. I think the characters are amazing. I just love a lot of what it's about. However, I have other videos talking about it, so I'm just going to, that's all you need to know, is that I'm really liking it. And, yep, who's shocked? No one. Okay. My author copy also came in for P49, which is beautiful. I love it. It's so gorgeous. I'm so happy it's here. The 3rd book should be here in December, so it is what it is. Yeah, that's everything. Here. Welcome to the second to last day of this reading vlog, where I'm going to be doing the majority of my reading. First things first is we are about to finish Sword Catcher. This is for a few different videos. I'm sure you can hear my fan, but I'm hot, so we are working with what we got, you know what I mean? Which is the first book in Contingent Clair's new series. I have roughly like 20 pages or so left of the book, so we're sitting down to finish that right now. A vlog that should already be up on the channel. Fingers crossed it went up today. We'll see. I forgot. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, it's rough. It's a rough out there. And you don't have anything planned. And then we're going to work our way through we have 1 issue of The Flash, so we'll read that. But we also have all of Manhunter to read, so we're going to read all of Manhunter. I also got the complete trilogy for the Infernal Devices, so we can pick that up. I have several things on my Kindle I'm also hoping to read. Then we have Demon Slayers Volume 4 through 7. I'm also hoping to read. Alrighty, that being said, I'm gonna go finish Sword Catcher, and I'll come back when I finish it. Alright, I'm gonna come here and update you guys. Today is the final day of this vlog, so let's take my reading. I did finish the Andrew Joseph Light yesterday. I don't remember what it's called, but I gave it a 3.25. I like there's interesting conversation about trans rights and also pregnancy when it comes to like trans people and things. However, like it's very much in the vein of like Manhunt, which I feel like it was even referenced as it could be. A lot of stories coming forward have been the reference of Manhunt, which is really interesting. I feel like there's a lot of conversations, especially Gretchen, that author who wrote Manhunt and stuff. I feel like they have introduced a lot of people to this extreme conversation. And I do think it's getting the point across, so I'm happy about it. I also read A Demon Slayer. This was volume 4 last night as well. And I started my next book, which is Every Step She Takes by Alison Crocken. I'm like 130 pages, something like that, into this. 120 pages. And so far, what I highly recommend is about a woman. She's 35 years old. It's this one right here. And she ends up taking a trip for her sister who is an influencer. And this trip, she's also trying to figure out her sexuality. She believes she might be a lesbian. And so she is going on this whole journey while also backpacking 200 miles. She's never walked a day in her life and the whole 9 yards. It's very fun in that regard. It's also very serious because she's trying to figure out her sexuality. And we're dealing with a whole group of characters and a whole group of problems. We have our other main character. Her name is Sadie, and they're going on the Camino, which is a queer retreat. Then we have Mal, which is this character right here, and she is in Portugal for her father's funeral. He's a famous wine person, disowned her for being gay and left her the entire fortune, however. And so he's like, she's there for that as well. And it is their unlikely romance. Like I said, about this far into it, I'm loving it. And I'd like to mention, if this is a 5-star, that's every release from this author that is a 5-star, which has to mean that they're probably like one of my all-time favorites, right? Obviously, I'd recommend. This is interesting because it does seem like it's supposed to be like kind of rom-commy, but it's very serious, but like in a very cute way. I do believe it'll make me cry, so I have that going for me. Today, we are going to start with Demon Slayer. And I'm going to sit here and read them on my Kindle. So I read volume 4 yesterday, so we're going to read volume 5 and 6 and 7 today. Yesterday, I mean last night. That's where we're going to start. I'll get back to you when I've read them. Because after I read them, I'm actually going to update the Demon Slayer video as well. So I'll get back to you. Hello, reading vlog. I don't know how many more updates I'm going to give you, I'm going to be honest with you. We did get to volume 7 of Demon Slayer, which is what I'm currently working through. And I actually realized that we're starting a whole new arc. And the last time I updated them, that was before they even went into the forest when we learned of crucial information. So I'm going to run through the ratings. Don't think I'm going to put them up on the screen, but I'm going to run through them anyways. Volume, what would I go for? 4, 5, 6? Okay, volume 4 was a 4-star. Volume 5 was a 5-star. Volume 6 was a 3.5 star. That is because it's an in-between arc. It's very important, very crucial for some development and also some fighting stuff. However, kind of boring to read. There's also like an interesting choice that they made that they did not make in the TV show. They took out a lot of the misogynistic sexism. The manga does have it. So anytime I can't think of his name. The yellow one. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. Anytime he pops up on screen, he's a bit more annoying here than he was in the TV show. I like him by the end. Yeah, quite a bit actually. He has some development to do still. But that's all I've been reading. I had to get a video up. It goes up tomorrow, and also I'm like kind of pissed at myself because we're on a weird schedule this week. And so essentially, like, I'm trying to get all these books done. I want to read them before I go to work. As soon as I go to work, anything I read at work, it's essentially going to be December. So we're going to get a good December start, which is great. But I'm trying to get a bunch of this stuff read before I go to work. And I don't have much time. I'm not trying to procrastinate, but we're on a different schedule, and so like I'm not gonna get a final video up for this month. So the final video will be, I think it was the vlog for Part of This World. It was supposed to be a 5 TikTok vlog, which I just finished, and now that's gonna have to get moved. And now it's moved into December. A lot of these videos though will come out early December, and that's because I just can't focus on editing because I've only read 17 books this month, and for some reason my body will not allow that to be the number. Like every step she takes, I thought we're going to be able to count for this month. This is definitely going to be a December read. There's just no choice behind it and stuff. But I love it so much. I'm excited to deep dive into it and stuff. Yeah, either way, we'll continue to take a step at that. Okay. Hello, let's go ahead and quickly close out the November reading vlog, or the second part of this vlog. I ended up reading a bunch of different things. Most noteworthy, I read the Infernal Vices manga trilogy. The first 2 were 4s, the last one was a 5th one. Infernal Vices is a Cassandra Clare series. It's actually that series right there that I'm pointing at, but it's in manga form. I read the first 2 previously before this event, and then I read the newest one, but I read them all 3 again. I did catch up with Demon Slayer, which I think is the last thing we talked about. That being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this reading vlog. I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.